Use your thumb on the joystick to move around. Every time the controller vibrates, it creates a particle trail. Now you can interact in the world of Myriad. At the end of your particle trail, there's a tiny white spot. Carbon. A connecting element in a perpetual dance of life and death. In its various compositions, it's the basis of all life, from the smallest particle to all living beings. A world of wonder, a world of oneness, a world of constant movement, a globally interdependent system of life. Follow these messengers on their long journey each year, crossing wide oceans and high mountains, migrating with the wind and the current, living through threats, trying to survive. Follow their paths and see the world through the eyes of many. Ascension Island, where the shore meets the sea. Digging out of the warm sand, scurrying into the ocean. Racing for their lives to reach the flowing tide. Under threat from their first seconds. Finally, a seaborne breath. Just afloat for years, lost in the open ocean, bound for destinations unknown. Green sea turtle, one of 7 species of its kind. For over 150 million years, her ancestors have been drifting through the oceans. Long before humans even wandered the earth, they saw our world changing. Her innate abilities to navigate the deep sea remain a secret kept behind her wise eyes. This is a story of determination and constant threat. "20 years ago, she was born on a full moon night, one survivor of thousands. She returned. Something beyond reason brought her back thousands of kilometers across open sea to find the beach, to lay her eggs in the sand, as it was 20 years ago. A mythological creature, air-breathing lungs, old wise eyes, grazing on the moving fields of seagrass, diving deep in the ocean. An underwater flight like a bird in the clouds. Honored and protected, hunted and killed, under pressure, under threat, with mysteries to be told. Stretching back into the spiral dark, long before the dinosaurs, until the creation of the Earth. The indigenous myth of the world turtle, originating thousands of years ago, when there was only water, the moon and the sun and the stars in heaven. Then the land was created on a shell, combining the worlds of below and above, of land and sea. This was the beginning. Since then, she's carried the weight of the world. A silent call, an invisible impulse, one last breath, and her long journey begins anew, finding her way across the open ocean to her feeding ground, diving deep in the unknown. In the dark, all by herself. How does she find her way? A mystery still. Guided by invisible magnetic fields. The scent of the ocean. Carried by currents and streams. Slowly moving her flippers. Silently flying through the open ocean. Hiding from sharks. Each year, rising pressure, human interference. bits of trash, long lines and drift nets bring silent death in the dark throughout her journey. From Ascension Island to 2,300 kilometers of open ocean to the Brazilian coast, through dark waters and growing threats. And a few, just a few, make their way back to their feeding ground, to recover strength, to return, to continue the journey, to where they were born, as it has been for 150 million years. A cycle of life, perpetual motion, sensitive balance. A red bald head, crested with a crown of shimmering black feathers. A simply magical appearance. The northern bald ibis, one of the most extraordinary and rarest migratory birds in the world. Once contemplated with wonder, it took just a few decades for human interference to almost wipe this creature from the face of the earth. But though it's on the brink of extinction, there's cause for hope. Like a dance in the clouds over the desert horizon, where the earth meets the sky, they take their formation in flight. Revered across the Middle East by ancient civilizations that have since risen and fallen. Their wings beat a choreography created in rhythm. Each bird unified in the aerial flow, moving as one, to save their strength for their long journey ahead. For thousands of years they've been gliding on the wind in this rhythm of nature, united with the land and its people. Taking wing each year, from Syria to their wintering grounds in the Ethiopian highlands, all the way back along the Red Sea, crossing at its widest point, more than 6,000 kilometers, over sacred sites, wide deserts, places unseen by most. But the land has lost its fabled creatures. Poisoned, hunted, driven off by human expansion. Until the last flight of the ancient guide of Hajj. Just one female left, breeding in Palmyra, knowing the way to her wintering grounds. Eradicated once and for all by war and destruction. Her name was Zenobia. The sky is now empty. The bald ibis is gone. And they were not the only ones who diminished. They once crossed the Alps, extinct creatures of the sky. Now, they've returned. After nearly 400 years, through human-led migration, building on a deeply rooted relationship. An ancient relationship that runs so deep, a hieroglyph thousands of years old, etched in the walls of the Temple of Horus, nestled in the Nile Valley, depicting the bald ibis. They nested in the east, where the three cosmic realms, the earth, the sky, and the underworld, converged at the horizon. Believed believed to be an incarnation of the spirit Ark, guiding the souls of the dead and loved, carrying them on their wings into the afterlife. Now their flighted feathers carry them into a future between light and darkness. How far the unknown transcends the what we know. White fur blending into the snow. A playful dance on furry paws. The Arctic fox. They're the size of a house cat, and they've been surviving the Arctic for around 300,000 years. A fragile environment, a sensitive creature. This is the story of one female's long and lonesome search, a journey across the northern hemisphere for a future in a threatened and vanishing environment. Endless nights, endless days. Wind whispering through imagined leaves, a treeless land, Spitsbergen, nearly inhospitable to life. This is her home. Suddenly, a scent that can't be smelled, a path that can't be seen, a call that can't be heard. She starts running over the white fields into the unknown. To find companion? To look for food? Only she knows. After weeks of crossing infinite sheets of dusted snow, feeding from leftovers from polar bears, Greenland's ice opens up. A crusted surface of shimmering blue, melting too early in the year under her paws. A risky journey, an unsafe path, a crack under each step. The ever-constant ice sheet has become too thin. Almost impossible to cross, even for the Arctic fox. This is now a pressured system, a fragile beauty. Fur hunters, changing climate, invasive species, a death by 1,000 cuts, and only the wind answers. When night falls, temperatures drop. She's curling up in her thick coat, closing her emerald eyes. And above, a cloudless expanse, the Arctic sky. And a fire unfolding itself. The northern lights telling the myth of the fire fox. The fire fox running across frozen plains, its flaming tail whips up crystals of snow. Its fur scratches the trees, setting the skies on fire. And out of the midst thereof, the colour amber, a brightness in the dark. For months, she resiliently follows her invisible track, her unknown path, her inner impulse. Inhale, exhale, pounce. Catch and kill to survive. To continue her journey through vast fields of snow. All the way from Norway, through white deserts, over thin ice, crossing to Greenland. More than 3,500 kilometers, 76 days of lonesome journeying, 76 days of continuous running, 76 days. And she finally arrives at Ellesmere Island. Her trail, leading to the beginning of all, is vanishing. Will she find what she's looking for? One look back, then she disappears. Footsteps swept away by the snow into a future still unknown. Now, what are we left with? Stardust, fragments, perpetual motion of endless stories, endless life, timeless change, shared destiny, the ultimate foundation of being, where we once were and have been. To create a sense of consciousness, a sense of living cosmos, a sense of oneness, a common ground that once existed for a future still